Hey, good day, good moment. Today, what I will be doing is coloring in a mandala that I did recently. It's very simple and it's like a practice that I did. And then I wrote a note here that says trying to be perfect, and I was learning to draw with ink, actually a dip pen, and this is just trying to use the tool, because every tool that you use you need to have a certain technique with it, and it takes time to learn. And so I made a couple of mistakes, and the spots where I made a mistake at was the places I was trying to be perfect, whereas with the others, when I was at the other points, when I allowed it to let it flow, it's worked out better. So what I'm going to do today is to color in this ink drawing of my mandala. Maybe you can join me. I'm adding some water. I am in love with water. It's so refreshing and it cools down my throat. It makes me feel grateful to just be able to be in touch with water. And so I'm going to be painting with watercolor today. Now help me choose the palette for the color swatch. What's the proper word? It's the color. I forgot the word now. But anyway, so this is the first option. This is one of my favorites. I used it in my last coloring in section, so I'm not gonna go for that one. And then this is option 2. Possibly. I'm liking the way it looks. Then this is option 3. This one's so pretty. And then this is option 4. All 3 of them are so enticing. Let me check. All 4, because you remember I had excluded the ones. I've got 3 to choose from. Okay. I'm going for this. This was option 3. Yes. Thank you for helping me choose. Cheers. I am diving in with yellow while the camera is rolling. Adding some water and spreading the color across the perpendicular like shape, and my yellow is getting shade or 2 lighter. I'm moving around the paddle, filling out the shape. and drying my brush. Get rid of the excess water and preventing my card from blowing away. Collecting up all of the extra fluid. Then next I'm going to add a complementary color, which is going to be purple. And purple is a mix of blue and red. So I'm adding my blue. Adding some more fluids. And then I'm adding my red. And I'm adding some more fluid so I can move it around. That was a splatter of water. Let me just wipe it up, sponging it up, and moving it around. I'm moving the paddle around the shape that is resembling the spokes of a wheel. Still moving the paddle, keeping it going. And the color is a faint purple. Placing down my trying to place down my palette, my paper palette, moving around the lilac. Around the shape that looks like spokes, but I feel like I need to add more blue, more color, because it's looking rather sparse. I'm adding my red and my blue, and there's a bird chirping in the background. And I'm realizing now that I did not make the smartest move, because with watercolor it's best to did you hear that bird? That was so pretty. Like sounded like you really enjoyed making that sound. So I added some more color to the spokes, and what I kind of, the mistake in quotation marks that I did was to paint the section adjacent to it. So it is melding into the section next to it. Oh, I've just just noticed that there's a gap. Okay, I'm gonna do that later. Dabbing up the water, and the next section I will paint is, let me show you. The next section I'm gonna paint is the leaves. What color I'm gonna make them? Thinking of orange. So I'm gonna do an orange. I will start with my yellow. So I'm dabbing some pigment into the water. I start with water, and then I dab the ink, the yellow ink, then rinse my brush, dab it into water with the red ink, the red pigment, and add it to my puddle. Slightly orange, more red. So I'm gonna add some more yellow pigment. Yes, now it's more orange, and I've got a nice puddle, and I'm pushing the puddle around the shape, the interior of the shape, pushing it around. There's a little bit too much water. Just dabbing my brush, picking up the water, and then I am trying my brush. It's so nice to see this orange. I'm picking up that additional moisture. There's the orange. It's been 17 minutes, and now I'm starting with a new empty block. Dipping let me try to go with the red first. I'm adding the red to my water puddle, and I'm going in with the yellow, taking some yellow pigment, adding to the water puddle, and slicking like some kind of curry powder. So it's coming to mind. Pushing the puddle around. Now just taking up all the axes. I'm taking out all the excess water. Is this thing? A bird. With my accent, it's sometimes just jumps in the way. Like instead of saying axis, my mind goes in there immediately axis. No, what? Instead of saying axis, it will be axis. But although both words are correct, you know. I meant excess, but then my accent just went like excess. Now I am filling in another blank shape, starting with yellow pigment, and then I'm adding some red. That's quite red, so but very red. Don't want it that red. Okay, just put it on its place. Okay, I just put some yellow pigment. Okay, so I'm just getting out all the excess moisture. Now this color is looking quite peachy and I like it. I'm thinking about that quote now about you can be the ripest, juiciest peach. Let me check my microphone on. Yeah. So it says you can be the juiciest, ripest peach. And there's still going to be someone who doesn't like peaches. Personally, for me, I'm a fan of peaches. Not crazy about them, but I'll eat them, especially on a trifle. And just like peaches, you know, not everyone not loving peaches. There's also people who actually detest trifle. They don't like trifle at all. So it's just like peaches. Some people love them, others nah. Me personally, I love peaches. And I love trifle. Okay, I love trifle more than peaches. I just put a nice orange there. So I'm adding some water to the empty shape. Going in with my yellow pigment. A little more red, some more yellow. Okay, some more water. And just got it. I'm spreading the paddle and draining the excess water on my tissue. Pushing around the puddle. Listening to the birds in the background. Picking up the extra water. Another nice orange. We have one more shape to finish. First I start with my water puddle and then I add my pigment. Then I push around the puddle. I'm happy with what the color looks like. And I dab my brush of water, and then I keep pushing. Okay, so we've got a variety of yellows here, of oranges, sorry. Use the orange. Next I'm gonna add, what am I gonna add next? I'm going to add the color green. I'm going to try a bigger brush because I am lazy. I'm just lazy to do the whole small brush thing. So now I'm gonna start with this. Green is green is yellow, a combination of yellow and blue. So I'll start with blue. And then I'll add yellow. Add some more water. This is a very light green. I like it. I'm pushing around the water bottle. I'm going to go back to my smaller brush. It's 27 minutes. Okay. So I started with my paddle and I'm going with my blue pigments and then adding my yellow pigment, and now I'm happy with that color. It's like a milky green. Pushing my paddle around the shape. Noticing the overcast, the clouds are moving past the sun, they're floating by, and these shapes resemble clouds. I like this green. Starting with my next shape, and I started with a little water paddle and then adding blue and then adding some yellow, then I'm adding some more water because it's a little bit softer. The pigment, the tone is darker. shade darker. It's fine. Why not? Every cloud does not look the same. It's organic. I guess that's how you know when someone is for real, is when they're different, because that's the truth, is that we are each unique. We are each so unique. Starting with some avenue shape, and starting with the blue, and the yellow. Okay, let me keep that green because the shade is slightly more warmer. Has got more yellow in it. I like the extra blue, so I'm gonna add some blue. Yes. I've got my paddle and I'm pushing it around so I can cover the empty space. There's quite a bit of water there, so I'm just scooping it up with the brush. I'm enjoying this so much. I'm enjoying cooking and I'm enjoying painting this. The next time I just growling. I wonder what I'm gonna eat for lunch. What will I have for lunch? What will I have for lunch? Going in with my blue pigment. And I'm adding my yellow pigment after rinsing it. And there's slightly too much yellow in this. I'm adding a little bit more blue. And when I'm happy, I'm going to go ahead and push around the puddle. We are 32 minutes in. And I'm pushing around the puddle until it fills out cloud-like shapes. Up a little bit of water into my tissue, and then I've got one more shape left over of a cloud-like shape. Starting with my puddle. Then I am going in with the blue. Beautiful birds flying by, saying hi, flying by, saying hi. Because it's so close to the mix. stripe, and I don't want it to bleed into the other one. Pardon the interruption. Oh my god! I just put my brush in my water, in my drinking water. But it was clean, so I'm gonna drink it. And this is how far I got. Oh, it didn't taste nice. Okay. If I messed up that water. Okay. So now what next? I want to do a blue. A lot like a blue. Sky blue. So put my brush into water. Then I am adding the water to my paper. Picking up some pigment, ay. Picking up some pigment, ay. Okay. Now, pushing around the water. And I'm hearing those birds squirking. Sounds like they're squirking. Don't know if that's the name that actually works. I hope my mic is clear. I'm pushing around the water. Then picking up the extra moisture. I'm not feeling this brush size. Going back to my small brush. The wind is making its presence known, and hey wind, how's it going? Okay, then activity in the background. I'm pushing around the paddle. Some of those extra moisture. Adding some more water. Then putting in some blue pigment. Adding a little bit more water just to make it a tone lighter. And pushing around the paddle, drying up extra water. So much fun to say water instead of water. For me, it's fun. Now moving on to the next shape. adding more blue tints to the water, adding more water to the tint, adding a little bit more water. While I play with possibility of having a British accent. And I love the way the water stains the paper. It absorbs into the paper and then it causes a unique shape. It's so cool. And starting with the next shape, dipping into my blue, dipping into my blue again, and then dipping into my water again. Now there's quite a lot of water and I need to dry it up, so I'm just picking up water with my brush and I'm pushing around the paddle to all the gaps. It's mixing with the ink a little bit and that's totally cool. And then I'm lapping up all of that extra water. One more shape to go for this color. Adding my blue pigment. It's quite blue, so I'm adding some water to dilute the color and pushing around the puddle, breathing a little bit. Breathing is beautiful. Thank God for breath. Picking up some of the water, the additional water, and that's it. And I'm just adding an additional layer to the previously dried section. It was slightly too pale, although not bad. And added my second layer. So now it's done with the blue. Next, I want a really bright yellow in the middle. Gonna go in with the yellow. And I'm testing it out on the paper. Thinking I'll start on the outer edge. Then I want more yellow. I'm pushing around the paddle containing the yellow pigments. And I'm adding more pigments, more yellow. pushing around this pit. Oh! Oops. Too much water. Still pushing it around and around and around. Okay, I think probably need a tiny brush to get this going, but I'm gonna experiment here with some dots. Even if it blends in with the surrounding water, it's okay. Okay, add some dots there. So the center is done, and next is I need just to add more yellow on the gap from earlier. And then I'm mixing up the water, the additional water, and filling the empty space. Now, next is the outer rim. I'm thinking I'm gonna do red. I'm gonna do like a nice red. I start with adding my petal with water and then going in with the red. Once I'm happy with it, I move around the petal. If I don't have a big enough petal, I am increasing the size of it. And I'm pushing around the water petal. Now yeah, the scratching noise of the brush against the piece of paper. And then I pick up the extra moisture. Thinking I'm gonna alternate the colors, so every other one I'll go red. I love this deep, beautiful red. It's like a nice plum. Looks like a plum. Juicy. It reminds me of a plum, doesn't it? Necessarily look like a plum. Simply reminds me of it. And now I'm moving around the petal. See my accent there, petal. I wanted to say petal instead of petal. And I just colored outside of the line. Let me see if I can. It's a nice bright hue. I'm gonna try and duplicate it. So I'm adding my red and my water. Yes, I think I managed to duplicate it. And I'm pushing around the paddle. setting up all of that extra water. All of that extra water, and I'm moving on to the next pinky shape, adding my red. Ooh, that was a nice red. I like deep reds. It outside of the line again. Hopefully that's going to give us some character. And I'm wrapping up all of the extra moisture. Okay. Adding some more red. One more shade to go. I want to match the one next to it. I am diluting it and then taking up the water. Extra one. It's 18 minutes later. Time moves so fast when you're having fun. Okay. Next up, I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do next up? When I do a blue green, I do a purple. Blue green or purple. I'll try purple. I'll try and make it a nice bright, as bright as possible. Spreading her watercolor, fill out the gaps, and taking up all of that extra moisture. More purple. So we go with red and blue. More like a deeper shade of purple. purple. One more shade to go. Okay. Some red, some blue pigment. Maybe a bit more red. Okay. Got a nice shade of purple here. Pushing around the petal, last petal of the day. Then off to lunch. Shall figure out on the way. But thank you for joining me, and it's quite a long video. Setting up the lettering, and I kind of messed it up. Here's the finished product. Thank you for joining me, and have an amazing day further. Bye.